Good morning, students. In this class, we will see about the physiology of endocrine system. That's questions and answers. That is the part 1. The first question, the various hormones that regulate blood glucose level. The first hormone is insulin. Insulin is only diabetic hormone, the anti-diabetic hormone secreted in the body. Insulin reduces the blood sugar by increase of transport and uptake of glucose by the cells. When carbohydrate-rich food is consumed, the blood sugar level increases. Insulin facilitates transport of glucose from the blood to the cells by increasing the permeability of cell membrane to glucose. Promote peripheral utilization of glucose. In the presence of insulin, glucose enter in the cell and is oxidized immediately. Third, promote storage of glucose, that is glucogenesis. Insulin promote rapid conversion of glucose to glycogen, which is stored in the muscle and liver. Inhibit gluconeogenesis, the formation of glucose from proteins by inhibiting the release of amino acid from the muscle and by inhibiting the activities of enzyme involved in gluconeogenesis. It inhibits glyconeogenesis. Insulin prevents breakdown of glycogen into glucose in the muscle and liver. The second hormone is glucagon. Action of glucagon are antagonist to those of insulin. It increases the blood sugar by increasing glyconeolysis in the liver. It increases the glyconeogenesis in the liver. Third hormone is growth hormone. Major effect on carbohydrate mechanism are decrease in peripheral utilization of glucose for production of energy. It increase in the deposition of glycogen in the cells, decrease in the uptake of glucose by the cells, and ultimately blood glucose level increases. Fourth one is thyroxine. Thyroxine stimulate almost all processes involved in the metabolism of carbohydrate by increased absorption of glucose from GI tract, enhance the glucose uptake by the cells by accelerating the transport of glucose through the cell membrane, increases the breakdown of glycogen into glucose, and accelerate gluconeogenesis. The next hormone is cortisol. It increases the blood sugar level by two ways. First one, by promoting gluconeogenesis in the liver from amino acid by inhibiting glucose uptake and utilization by peripheral cells. Next is adrenaline. Adrenaline increases the blood glucose level. It is by increasing the gluconeolysis in the liver and muscles. So a large quantity of glucose enter in the circulation. Second question is diabetic mellitus. Diabetic mellitus is a metabolic disorder characterized by high blood sugar level associated with other manifestation. In most cases, diabetes develops due to deficiency of insulin. Type 1 diabetes, it is all due to the deficiency of insulin. It occurs by the dysfunction of beta cells in islets of Langerhans. It is not associated with obesity and may be associated with acidosis or ketosis. It may occur at any age of life but usually occur before the age of 40. When it occurs in infancy or childhood, it is called juvenile diabetes. The main causes are degeneration of beta cells in islets of Langerhans of pancreas, destruction of beta cells by the viral infection, congenital disorders of beta cells, destruction of beta cells during autoimmune diseases. Type 2 diabetes. It is due to absence of deficiency of insulin receptors. It usually occurs after the age of 40. Hence, it is called maturity onset diabetes mellitus. It may or may not be associated with ketosis. This type of diabetes mellitus is also called non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. The main causes include hereditary disorders, other endocrine disorders. Features of diabetic mellitus are increased blood sugar level due to reduced utilization by tissue, mobilization of fat from adipose tissue for energy purpose leading to elevated fatty acid content in the blood, depletion of proteins from the tissue, glucosuria, osmotic diuresis, polyuria, polydipsia and polyphagia, asthenia, acidosis, acetone breathing, cosmal breathing, circulatory shock and coma. Complication of diabetes mellitus. Prolonged hyperglycemia in diabetes mellitus causes dysfunction and injury to many tissues resulting in some complications. Development of these complications are directly proportional to the degree and duration of hyperglycemia. Initially, untreated diabetes mellitus affect the blood vessels resulting in vascular complications like atherosclerosis. Cardiovascular complications like hypertension, myocardial infarction, degenerative changes in the retina called diabetic retinopathy, Degenerative disease changes in the kidney known as diabetic nephropathy. Degeneration of autonomic and parietal nerves are called diabetic neuropathy. Diagnostic tests for diabetes mellitus include fasting blood sugar, postprandial blood sugar, glucose tolerance tests, and glycosylated hemoglobin. Actions of parathormone. The PTH or parathormone maintains the blood calcium level. It also controls the blood phosphatase level. The first action is on blood calcium level. The primary action is to maintain blood calcium level within the critical range of 9 to 11 milligram per deciliter. The parathormone maintains blood calcium levels by acting on bones, kidney, and GI tract. PTH increases the reabsorption of calcium from the bones and it stimulates osteoclastic activity in the bone. It enhances the reabsorption of calcium from the bone by stimulating osteoblast and osteoclast of the bone. It occurs in two phases there. First is the rapid phase. Immediately after reaching the bone, it gets attached to the receptors on the cell membrane of osteoblast and osteocyst. It accelerates the calcium pump mechanism so that calcium ion move from these bone cells into the blood at a faster rate. Second is the slow phase. In this phase, calcium reabsorption from the bone is by activation of osteoclast. They are large phagocytic multinucleated cells derived from monocytes or monocytes-like cells present in the bone marrow. When osteoclasts are activated by parathormone, some proteolytic enzymes, several acids, citric acid and lactic acid are released. All these digest or dissolve organic matrix of the bone, releasing calcium ion. The calcium ions slowly move into the plasma. Reabsorption of the calcium from renal tubules. Large quantity of calcium filtered in renal glomeruli. Parathormone increases the reabsorption of calcium from the renal tubules along with magnesium ion and hydrogen ion. It influences the calcium mainly from distal convoluted tubule. Absorption of calcium from GI tract. Parathormone increases the absorption of calcium ion from the GI tract indirectly. It increases the formation of 1,25-dihydroxycalciferol in the kidney. This vitamin in turn increases the absorption of calcium as well as phosphate from GI tract. On blood phosphate level, parathormone decreases the blood phosphate level. The role of parathormone in the activation of vitamin D. Vitamin D is essential for calcium absorption from GI tract, but vitamin D is not in active form. Instead, vitamin D has to convert to 1,25-dihydroxycholecalciferol in the liver and in kidney by various reactions. For these reactions, parathormone is necessary. The fourth question is actions of thyroid hormone or functions of thyroid hormone. Thyroid gland is composed of large number of closed follicles. The follicles are lined with cuboidal epithelial cells which are called follicular cells. The follicular cavity is filled with colloidal substance known as thyroglobulin which is secreted by the follicular cells. Follicular cells secrete tetraidiothyronine that is T4 or thyroxine and triidiothyronine that is T4 in the between the follicles and parafollicular cells are present. These cells secrete calcitonin. First on metabolic rate. Thyroxine increases the metabolic activities of almost all tissues in the body except brain, retina, spleen, and testes and lungs. Second, it on protein metabolism by increasing translation of RNA, by increasing transcription of DNA to RNA, by increasing the activity of mitochondria, by increasing the activity of cellular enzymes. Third, it is on carbohydrate metabolism. It increases the absorption of glucose from GI tract. It enhances the glucose through the cell membranes. Increases the breakdown of glycogen into glucose. It accelerates gluconeogenesis. The fourth one on fat metabolism. Thyroxine decreases the fat storage by mobilizing it from adipose tissue and fat deposit. Next, on plasma and liver fat, thyroxine decreases the cholesterol, phospholipids and triglyceride levels in the plasma. On vitamin metabolism, thyroxine increases the formation of many enzymes. Since vitamins form essential part of the enzymes, it is believed that the vitamins may be utilized during the formation of the enzyme. On body temperature, Thyroid hormone increases the heat production in the body by accelerating various cellular processes and increasing the basic metabolic rate. On growth, thyroid hormones have general and specific effect on growth. Lack of thyroxine arrests the growth and increase in the thyroxine accelerates the growth of body, especially in growing children. Effect on body weight. It is essential to maintain the weight of the body. Increase in thyroxine decreases the body weight and fat storage, and decrease in thyroxine causes increase in the body weight. Effect on blood. Thyroxine increases the production of RBC. On cardiovascular system, on heart rate, it increases the heart rate. On force of contraction, it increases the force of contraction. On blood vessels, it causes vasodilation, blood flow increases. On arterial blood pressure, increase the blood pressure as it increases the force of contraction, increase the heart rate. Next, effect on respiration. Thyroxine increases the rate and force of respiration indirectly. On GI tract, it increases the appetite and food intake. On CNS system, it is essential for the development and maintenance of normal functioning of the CNS. The fifth question is serum calcium level. The normal blood calcium level is 9.4 milligram percentage. It ranges from 9 to 11 milligram percentage. In a normal young adult, there is about 1100 gram of calcium in the body. The calcium is taken through dietary sources. It is reabsorbed from the GI tract into the blood and distributed to various parts of body. While passing through kidney, large quantity of calcium is filtered in the glomerulus. From the filtrate, 98 to 99% of calcium is reabsorbed from the renal tubules into the blood. Only a small quantity is excreted through the urine. The blood calcium level is regulated by three hormones, namely parathormone that we already have seen. It is the protein hormone secreted by parathyroid glands and main function increase the blood calcium level by mobilizing the calcium from the bones. Second, 1,25-dihydroxycholecalciferol. It's a steroid hormone. It is steroid synthesized from vitamin D by means of a series of hydroxylation reactions in liver and kidney. The main action is to increase the blood calcium level by increasing the calcium absorption from the small intestine. The third one is calcitonin. It is a protein hormone secreted by parafollicular cells of thyroid gland. It is calcium lowering hormone. It reduces the blood calcium level by decreasing the bone resorption. This is a pictorial representation of the body's mechanism when the decreased blood glucose means blood calcium level, and sorry, it is not blood glucose, it is blood calcium, and increased blood calcium level. Sixth question, regulation of secretion of aldosterone. Aldosterone is secreted by adrenal cortex and belongs to the mineralocorticoids. Its secretion is regulated by four important factors: the increase in potassium ion concentration in ECF, increase in the sodium ion in the ECF, decrease in the ECF volume, and adrenocorticotropic hormone. Increase in potassium ion is the most effective stimulant for the aldosterone secretion. It acts directly on zona glomerulosa and increases secretion of aldosterone. Decrease in the sodium concentration and ECF volume stimulate juxtaglomerular apparatus in the kidney to secrete renin. Renin acts on angiotensinogen in the plasma and convert it into angiotensin 1, which convert into angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2 acts on the zona glomerulosa to secrete more aldosterone. Aldosterone in turn increases the retention of sodium and water. This causes an increase in sodium ion concentration volume of extracellular fluid. Now the increase in the sodium ion concentration and extracellular fluid volume inhibit the juxtaglomerular apparatus and stop release of renin. So angiotensin 2 is not formed and release of aldosterone from adrenal cortex stop. Adrenocorticotropic mainly stimulates secretion of glucocorticoids. It has only mild stimulating effect on aldosterone secretion. The seventh question is physiological action and regulation of aldosterone. First one on sodium ion. It acts on distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct and increase in the reabsorption of sodium. On extracellular fluid volume, when sodium ions reabsorb from the renal tubule, simultaneously water also reabsorbs. So net result is increase in extracellular fluid volume. On blood pressure, when the secretion of aldosterone increases, large quantity of sodium reabsorbed from the renal tubule. It is followed by reabsorption of water, resulting in increase in the extracellular fluid by increase and blood volume and elevation of blood pressure. On the other hand, aldosterone decreases or less, very large amount of salt is lost in the urine. It decreases content of water and salt in extracellular fluid, resulting in severe dehydration and low blood volume. Low blood volume lead to circulatory shock. On potassium ion, it increases the potassium excretion through renal tubules. When aldosterone is deficient, potassium ion concentration in ECF increase, leading to hyperkalemia. It results in serious cardiac toxicity with the weak contractions of heart and development of arrhythmia. On hydrogen ion concentration, while increasing sodium reabsorption from the renal tubules, aldosterone causes tubular secretion of hydrogen ion. And sweat glands and salivary glands. Sodium is reabsorbed from sweat gland under the influence of aldosterone. Thus, loss of sodium from the body is prevented. On intestine, aldosterone greatly enhances the sodium reabsorption from the intestine, especially in colon, and prevents loss of sodium through feces. Layers of adrenal cortex, three layers: zona glomerulosa, which produce mineralocorticoids; zona fasciculata, which produce glucocorticoids; zona reticularis, which produce the sex hormones. Ninth question, abnormalities of thyroid function. The first abnormality is hyperthyroidism. Increased secretion of thyroid hormones are called hyperthyroidism. One of the cause, this is the Graves' disease, which is autoimmune disease. In addition to hypothyroidism occurs because of the hyperthyroidism occurs because of other reasons like TSH-like substance. It can occur due to presence of thyroid stimulating hormone-like substance in the blood. Such substances are antibodies that produce autoimmunity. These antibodies bind with the membrane receptors of TSH and activate CAMP system of cells, resulting in hyperthyroidism. Thyroid adenoma, sometimes localized tumor, develops in the thyroid tissue, also known as thyroid adenoma, and it secretes large quantities of thyroid hormone. As far as the adenoma remains active, the other parts of thyroid gland cannot secrete the hormone because the hormone secreted from adenoma depress the production of TSH. Graves' disease, it is an autoimmune disorder which causes hyperthyroidism. Symptoms of hypothyroidism include intolerance to heat, increased sweating, body weight decreases, muscular weakness due to excessive protein catabolism, nervousness, extreme fatigue, inability to sleep, mild tremor in the hand, enlargement of thyroid gland, exophthalmos, polycythemia, tachycardia. Hypothyroidism, decrease in secretion of thyroid hormone, is called hypothyroidism. It occurs due to autoimmune disease, which destruction of the gland. It eventually results in fibrosis of the glands. Hypothyroidism leads to mixed, that means hypothyroidism in adults and cretinism in the children. Signs and symptoms are swelling of the face, bareness under eye, non-pitting edema, atherosclerosis, anemia, fatigue and muscular sluggishness, extreme symptoms of sleep, constipation, depressed hair growth, cretinism, that is hypothyroidism in children due to congenital absence of thyroid gland, genetic disorder or lack of iodine in the diet. Goiter means enlargement of thyroid gland. It occurs both in hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. 10. Name hormones of adrenal cortex. Describe the physiological and pharmacological actions of glucocorticoids. The hormones of adrenal cortex are mineralocorticoids, glucocorticoids, and sex hormones. The actions of glucocorticoids include on carbohydrate metabolism by promoting gluconeogenesis in the liver from amino acids. Glucocorticoids enhance the breakdown of proteins in the extrahepatic cells, particularly in the muscle. It followed by release of amino acid into circulation by inhibiting glucose uptake and utilization by peripheral cells. On protein metabolism, it promotes catabolism of proteins in the body cells except liver cells. Glucocorticoids decrease the protein synthesis by inhibiting amino acid transport into cells and by inhibiting the formation of RNA. At the same time, glucocorticoids accelerate protein catabolism and release of amino acid from the tissue. This increase of transport of amino acids into hepatic cells. In the hepatic cells, amino acids are used for synthesis of protein. On fat metabolism, glucocorticoids cause some immobilization and redistribution of fats. These actions on fat are mobilization of fatty acid from adipose tissue, increasing concentration of fatty acids in the blood, increasing utilization of fat for energy. On mineral metabolism, enhance retention of sodium and slightly increase excretion of potassium. Thus, hypersecretion of glucocorticoids causes edema, hypertension, hypokalemia, and muscular weakness. On water metabolism, whenever large amount of water is taken, glucocorticoids accelerate the excretion of water. On muscles, this increases the release of amino acid from muscle by catabolism of protein. On blood cells, this decreases number of circulating eosinophils by increasing the destruction of eosinophils in reticuloendothelial cells. On vascular response, presence of glucocorticoids is essential for the constrictor action of adrenaline and noradrenaline. On nervous system, glucocorticoids are essential for normal functioning of nervous system. Insufficiency causes personality changes like irritability and lack of concentration. On response to stress, in exposure to any type of stress, either physical or mental, increase in the secretion of ACTH. ACTH in turn increases the glucocorticoid secretions. This is very essential for survival as the immediate release and transport of amino acid from tissue to the liver cells for synthesis of new proteins and other substances essential to withstand the stress. Release of fatty acid from the cells for production of more energy during stress. Enhancement of vascular activity to catecholamine and fatty acids mobilization action of catecholamine. Prevention of severity of other changes in the body caused by stress. Anti-inflammatory effect. The glucocorticoids prevent inflammation changes in the cells caused by acting at all stages of inflammation. It causes stabilization of membrane of lysosome. Release of substances like histamine and proteolytic enzyme from affected tissue is prevented by permissive action on catecholamine. Glucocorticoids cause vasoconstriction and prevent rush of blood into an injured area. Permeability of capillaries decreases so that loss of fluid from plasma into affected tissue is prevented. It suppresses the T cells and other leukocytes so that there is a reduction in reactions of tissues which usually enhance the inflammatory process. And anti-allergic reactions, corticoids prevent various reactions in allergic conditions in case of inflammation. Immunosuppressive effect. It prevents immune system of the body by decreasing the number of circulating T lymphocytes. It is done by suppressing the lymphoid tissue. The 11th question is endocrine functions of pancreas and actions of insulin. Endocrine function of pancreas is performed by islets of Langerhans. Human pancreas contain about 1 to 2 million islets. Islets of Langerhans consists of 4 types of cells: A cells or alpha cells which secrete glucagon, B cells or beta cells which secrete insulin, D cells or delta cells which secrete somatostatin, F cells or PP cells which secretes pancreatic polypeptide. Insulin is the most important hormone that is concerned with the regulation of carbohydrate and blood sugar level. On carbohydrate mechanism, insulin is only anti-diabetic hormone secreted in the body. It increases the transport and uptake of glucose by the cells where carbohydrate-rich food is consumed. Blood sugar level rises. Immediately, pancreas secretes insulin. It facilitates transport of glucose from body blood to the cells by increasing permeability of cell membrane to glucose. Peripheral utilization of glucose. Insulin promotes peripheral utilization of glucose. In the presence of insulin, glucose which enters in the cells oxidizes immediately. Storage of glucose. Insulin promotes rapid conversion of glucose into glycogen, which is stored in the muscle and liver. Inhibition of gluconeolysis. Insulin prevents breakdown of glycogen into glucose in muscle and liver. Inhibition of gluconeogenesis. Insulin prevents formation of glucose from proteins by inhibiting the release of amino acid from muscle and by inhibiting activities of enzymes involved in the gluconeogenesis. On protein metabolism, insulin facilitates synthesis and storage of protein and inhibits cellular utilization of protein, facilitates transport of amino acids into the cell from the blood, accelerates synthesis of proteins by influencing the transcription of the DNA and by increasing the translation from RNA. Prevent catabolism of protein by decreasing the activity of cellular enzyme. Prevent conversion of proteins into glucose. For fat metabolism, insulin stimulates synthesis of fat. It also increases storage of fat in the adipose tissue. Synthesis of fatty acids and insulin promote the transport of excess glucose in the cells, particularly in liver cells. This glucose utilized for synthesis of fatty acids and triglycerides. Transport of fatty acid into adipose tissue. Storage of fat. On fat metabolism, insulin stimulates synthesis of fat. It also increases storage of fat in adipose tissue, transport of fatty acids into adipose tissue, and storage of fat. On growth, along with growth hormone, insulin promotes growth of the body. It is because of its action on the anabolism of protein. It enhances the transport of the amino acid into the cells and synthesis of proteins in the cells. It also has the protein sparing effect. The 12th question is pituitary dwarfism. Dwarfism is a condition in which the growth of an individual is very slow or delayed. There are many forms of dwarfism. The word pituitary in the reference to pituitary gland in the body. The gland regulates certain chemicals like hormone in the body. Therefore, pituitary dwarfism is decreased the body growth due to hormonal problems. The end result is proportionate little person because of the height as well as growth of all other structures of the individual is decreased. Pituitary dwarfism is caused by problems arising in the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland also called as hypophysis. The pituitary gland divided into two halves, the anterior, the front portion, and the posterior, the back portion. Anterior half produce 6 hormones like growth hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, prolactin, follicle stimulating hormone, and luteinizing hormone. The posterior pituitary gland only produces 2 hormones. It produces antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin. The most forms of dwarfism are a result of decreased production of the hormones from the anterior half of the pituitary gland. The main most common due to decrease of growth hormone, which will discuss here. These decrease in the childhood cause individuals' arm, legs, and other structures to develop normal proportions for their bodies but at decreased rate. When all the hormones of antipituitary gland are not produced, this is known as panhypopituitarism. Another type of dwarfism occurs when the only growth hormone is decreased. Dwarfism can result from lack of somatomedin, also called insulin-linked growth factor. Somatomedin C is a hormone produced in the liver that increases the bone growth and when growth hormone is present. African pygmy and Levi-Loren dwarfs lack the ability to produce somatomedin C in response to growth hormone. All causes of dwarfism lead to proportionate little person. Cause and symptoms. Pituitary dwarfism has been shown to run in families. New gen investigation are underway to determine the specific cause and location of gene responsible for dwarfism. The human cell contains 46 hormones arranged in 23 pairs. Most of the genes in the 2 chromosomes of each pair are identical or almost identical with each other. However, the dwarfism appears when to be a disruption of these areas, chromosome 3 and 7. The main course of therapy is growth hormone replacement therapy, where there is lack of growth hormone in the body. A pediatric endocrinologist, a doctor specialized in the hormones of the children, usually administers this type of therapy before the child's growth plates have been fused or joined together. Once the growth plates are fused, the growth hormone replacement therapy is rarely effective. Thank you. Thank you for listening.